The handover. You don't lose control of your emotions. You hand them over. Sometimes quietly, sometimes with a sigh, sometimes with an entire apology that starts with, "I'm sorry you feel that way." And just like that, your peace becomes someone else's property. Most people don't realize how often they give away control, not to violence or drama, but to tiny moments. A sarcastic comment, a guilt trip, a silent treatment, a raised eyebrow that throws your nervous system into overdrive. They push a button, and you react every time. Not because you're weak, but because you were trained to. The conditioning of reactivity. From childhood, we learn the rule. Keep people happy, and you'll be safe. When someone frowned, you adjusted your tone. When they sighed, you fixed yourself to ease the tension. When they exploded, you absorbed the blame, even if it wasn't yours. That's not emotional maturity. That's emotional servitude. You became fluent in other people's moods and illiterate in your own. Somewhere along the way, your emotions stopped being signals and became weapons, used against you. You're not just reacting to what people say. You're reacting to the story your brain builds around what they say. He's disappointed in me. She must think I'm selfish. They're angry. I did something wrong. But here's the truth. Their emotion is theirs. Your reaction is yours. Confusing the two is how you lose yourself. The emotional puppet strings. Picture two people, one calm, centered, the other holding invisible strings labeled guilt, fear, approval. Every time you flinch, explain, or over-apologize, another string tightens. Some people don't even realize they're pulling the strings. It's instinct. Others know exactly what they're doing. But either way, the pattern remains. They react, and you follow. The trap isn't their emotion. It's your belief that you must fix it. You can't be emotionally free while trying to manage everyone else's inner weather. The three common triggers. Guilt hooks. I just thought you cared. You rush to prove you do. Anger hooks. Wow. Guess I can't talk to you. You scramble to calm them down. Victim hooks. I knew you'd leave me. You defend yourself endlessly, trapped in emotional quicksand. Each hook relies on one assumption, that you are responsible for their feelings. But you're not. You never were. The neurology of reaction. Here's the science. Every emotional trigger starts in the amygdala, the alarm system in your brain. When someone criticizes you or withdraws affection, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, as if you're in physical danger. Your heart races. Logic fades. You react from survival, not sovereignty. Emotional control isn't about suppression. It's about separation. Learning to pause before your biology drags you into a reaction. The power of the pause. Between what's said and how you respond lies a sacred gap. The pause. It's only a few seconds long, but inside it is everything: choice, dignity, power. Someone says, "Wow, I didn't expect that from you." Your nervous system spikes, and instead of defending, you breathe. You don't mirror their tone. You don't explain. You pause. And in that pause, you remind your system, this is not an emergency. You are not obligated to absorb another person's projection. The reflection trap. When you grow up around reactive people, you internalize one rule: harmony equals safety. So when someone is upset, you panic. Not because of what they said, but because their discomfort triggers old survival memories. But here's the paradox. If you always calm others to feel safe, you'll never learn to feel safe within yourself. Emotional mastery begins with tolerating discomfort. The awkward pause, the disapproving silence, the unreturned text, without rushing to fix it. That's emotional adulthood. The manipulator's blueprint. Not everyone who controls emotions is evil. Some do it unconsciously, repeating family patterns. Others use it strategically. Here's how it works. They test your boundaries with small reactions. They observe your guilt and compliance. They learn what emotional currency works best: anger, sadness, withdrawal. Once they know your trigger, control becomes effortless. But the moment you stop reacting, the control collapses. The art of non-reactivity. Non-reactivity is not apathy. It's mastery. It means you feel the emotion, but you don't perform it for someone else's comfort. You can acknowledge someone's pain without letting it rewrite your self-worth. You can hear criticism without surrendering your peace. You can stay present without being pulled into their chaos. This isn't emotional detachment. It's emotional discernment. You still care, you just care wisely. The story shift. Your triggers are stories. Every emotional reaction is a narrative your mind tells. They're disappointed in me. I'm being abandoned. I'm not enough. When you pause, you interrupt the story before it hijacks your reality. You shift from reacting to observing. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? Is it true? Whose emotion is this? Theirs or mine? That's not overthinking. That's emotional literacy. The cost of control. People who control your emotions control your energy. They decide your mood, your confidence, your peace. They don't need to yell, just withdraw affection. They don't need to lie, just delay validation. Every time you chase closure, you lose center. And the irony? They feel powerful because you taught them that your peace depends on them. The only way to end emotional manipulation is to stop participating in it. The inner boundary. Physical boundaries protect your body. Emotional boundaries protect your mind. You can't control what others feel, but you can control what enters your mental space. When someone unloads anger or guilt, visualize a transparent wall. Their words pass through, but their emotional charge stays on their side. You hear them. You don't absorb them. The difference between empathy and absorption. Empathy means understanding feelings. Absorption means becoming them. Empathy says, I see your pain. Absorption says, your pain is now mine. The world glorifies empathy but forgets containment. Without boundaries, empathy becomes emotional theft. You steal their pain and abandon your own. True compassion includes distance. The exercise of sovereignty. When someone reacts emotionally, practice these 3 steps. Observe without absorbing. Notice the tone, the body language, but stay still inside. Name the hook. Ah, that's guilt. That's projection. That's control. Breathe before responding. Inhale through the nose. Exhale slowly. Remind your body you're not in danger. The goal is not to win. It's to remain unmoved. That stillness is your superpower. The practical tools. 1. Emotional mirror. When someone criticizes you, imagine holding a mirror. You reflect the emotion back instead of absorbing it. 2. The inner anchor. Pick one physical cue, maybe pressing your thumb and forefinger together, to remind yourself, I am grounded. 3. The 2-second rule. Before responding to emotional bait, count 2 seconds. If it still deserves energy, respond slowly. 4. The guilt detox. When guilt shows up after saying no, breathe and say, "Guilt is just my old programming, not my compass." The unreactive self. Visualize a scene. Someone throws emotional arrows, blame, criticism, guilt. But instead of piercing, they dissolve midair. The calm figure remains centered, breathing deeply. That's not suppression, it's evolution. The calmest person in the room always has the most power, not because they dominate, but because they refuse to be dominated internally. Emotional detachment versus indifference. Emotional detachment gets a bad reputation. People confuse it with not caring. But detachment doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you choose what deserves your energy. Indifference is cold. Detachment is clarity. You can love deeply, listen fully, and still protect your peace. You can say, "I understand how you feel," without following it with, "So I'll destroy myself to make it better." The science of self-regulation. Every act of composure rewires your nervous system. Each time you resist reacting, you train your brain to stay balanced during stress. This is neuroplasticity in motion. Your emotional patterns are not fixed. They're habits being rewritten. You're literally building new neural pathways for peace. That's not spiritual fluff. It's psychology in action. The test. You'll know you've grown when someone accuses you falsely and you stay calm. Someone withdraws affection and you don't chase. Someone tries to guilt you and you simply say, "I understand how you feel," then move on. Your silence becomes power. Your calm becomes consequence. The freedom of non-reactivity. Freedom isn't avoiding emotional people. It's becoming immune to their control. It's walking through chaos with stillness inside. It's smiling at manipulation without bending. It's knowing you no longer owe emotional labor to anyone's insecurity. When you no longer take the bait, the entire system of control collapses. Return to center. The goal was never to stop feeling. It was to stop performing. When you stop letting people control your emotions, life doesn't become quiet. It becomes clear. You see manipulation for what it is. You stop apologizing for calmness. You reclaim the right to your inner weather. You stop being an emotional mirror for other people's storms. And you start being the stillness that reminds others. Peace is possible. Because when you control your emotions, you control your freedom. Thank you for watching. This is MindStickz.